welcome to Wise Up on Air. Thanks for joining us today. Got an exciting one for you. I'm joined by some of my colleagues here at Audiokinetic, both in person here in Montreal in the studio and remotely from Calgary. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Thalie. I work in the acoustics team. And here's Alan.
I am part of the research team, which is also a part of the acoustics team. Hello.
Yay.
I'm Alan.
Excellent. We're doing great over here and excited to dive into some of the features that are a part of the Wwise 2025.1 beta 3 that's out right now. So let's jump into a quick overview of what we've been working on and what is out there for you to grab as part of Wwise 2025.1 beta 3. Bam! Here we are. You know it. Maybe you love it. We love it. Wwise. And it's the 25th year of Audiokinetic. There's been a lot of celebrating, looking back through the lens of history, and it's a gift to be here at the quarter century celebration of Audiokinetic. And we'll be out in the world in the next week or so at Games SoundCon. So any folks who have joined us queuing up for that in California, hope to see you there. We have been participating in Game SoundCon for years. It's always a gift to round up with the community there on the ground. And we sponsor 2 days of presentations in a room that we coordinate everything from introductions to Wwise, getting started, going hands-on. We have some workshops this year, new, bringing you dynamic mixing and 3D audio. We've got optimization, and a whole bunch of stuff coming up, landing at a great panel on accessibility and audio that we are excited to be revisiting again this year with a new cast of incredibly talented and knowledgeable folks. So hope to see you there. Come say hi. Meanwhile, we are winding down the summer of beta here, landing at the full release in the fall, but today talking about beta 3. And this goes across our user experience, spatial audio, 3D audio, and acoustics technologies, as well as our integrations with Unreal, Unity, and our sound engine technology. But before we get into that, let's talk about acoustics. You're here today, hopefully, because you're interested to hear more about the new dual shelf filter, as well as updates that we've made to the Game Object 3D viewer. That's why I've asked Thalie and Alan along to help me out with that. That's why we're here. And we wanted to kind of sprinkle this in throughout the live stream. So let us know, what's your favorite cake? We've been talking a lot about cake here. So we thought maybe we could get some suggestions from folks out there. Does anyone want to give away their favorites?
I'm going to commit to Black Forest.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good one. What do you got?
I don't know.
Okay. I'll think on it then.
I'm not the cake person here.
Okay. Think on it. Okay. We got a great one from the
Wow.
chat, though, from Jan Sarlotka. Polish apple pie with ice cream.
Yum. It's apple
Oh,
season.
boy.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is.
yeah. Okay. Horatio's here. Good to see
Any
you.
cake is fine.
Carrot cake. And yeah, okay. Any cake is fine. 100% yes. I'm going to go with pineapple upside down cake.
Oh, that's a good one.
And
The carrot cake's good, especially with just like a thick smear of cream cheese icing. Oh,
heck
so
yeah.
good.
That's it. That's it. Okay, but you didn't come here for cake. You came here to hear more about spatial audio, our acoustics features, and let me just get a few other things in front of you while I have you. Here's some stuff we've brought to the user experience. We have merged the interactive and actor mixer hierarchies into a new combined containers hierarchy. We renamed the actor mixer as property container. We renamed the master mixer hierarchy the buses hierarchy, and the master audio bus will now be created as the main audio bus. So lots of changes to the way that we name things. We're honing in on precision to help folks who are new to Wwise and learning it. The cake was a lie. Okay. And we shortened audio devices to devices. So we added a new multiband meter, which expands on the meter into a full band and 4 additional bands that can be enabled and focused on different parts of the audio spectrum in order to drive gain parameters in Wwise that can be brought back across containers and do all kinds of crazy stuff. If you were here in beta 1, you saw that we added this new amazing graph to our parametric EQ. We took that a step further in beta 2 and added 8 bands, or for a total of 8 bands. But then in beta 3, we landed with dynamics. So being able to bring our new sidechain mix that is also part of 25.1 directly into the parametric EQ to drive bands of frequencies. So amazing stuff. And we went deep on this in a previous Wwise Up on Air Hands-On with David Crooks. So turn back time and put your eyes and ears on that new technology in 25.1. The media pool, another big feature that landed as part of beta 1 and continues to unfold outward, getting you closer to your audio files in folders on for your sample libraries, but also exposing for the first time your project originals and giving you access to those, being able to see contextually where those are applied in your project, and really brings into focus audio as part of a focused and iterative real-time workflow. Our live media transfer, being able to just bring sounds in through the media pool to the game as it's running in real time and iterate. Well, this is the kind of speed we're driving towards. And as an optional piece of that media pool in beta 2, we added our similar sound search, which was a partnership with Sony AI to create a text to audio and audio to audio sound effects search tool. This comes as an optional installation alongside of Wwise and just slots right into the media pool workflow alongside being able to search in metadata for selected fields alongside these similar sound search features like audio description and finding similar. Again, unlocking the audio of your audio in order to correlate and find things that might not be accessible through traditional metadata and text-based search. So give that a spin, hoping that we can get some feedback about it. And we also went out and talked about this alongside Bernard Rodrigue and Etienne Richon here at Audiokinetic, as well as our Sony AI partners, Gaetan and Hakim. We went deep behind it, pulled out some cool workflows, and surfaced some of the fun there. And yes, if you're interested in talking with us more about it, we're lining up focus groups for the media pool and similar sound search. So grab this QR, hit the link in the chat, and sign up so that we can hear more from you about how you're using these tools as part of your workflow. Integrations has had a great year. We have pulled together workflows for the Wwise browser now in unison across our Unity and Unreal integration, which was in place back in 23.1. We added dynamic dialogue to what's available over on the Unreal integration side. This is a technology, it's maybe like the fifth Beatle. It's like the fifth switching strategy that you can use with Wwise, the George Martin of switching, if you will, to be able to, at runtime determine how to play back sounds in a sequence. So if it's a technology you haven't heard about yet, dig in. We'll also be going hands-on and live with Benoit Santar in an upcoming live stream here on Wwise Up on Air. So get subscribed, and we'll see you later. Spatial audio has had more than just acoustics cooking. We have added a 3D audio feature in beta 3 for our new recorder plugin that works to record an ADM file as the output. Comes with a bunch of features that are organized around the audio definition model, so preserving more of that spatial precision as part of an audio format. This is a giant multi-channel that's comprised of spatial beds, pass-through bed, as well as individual objects. So a new experimental feature we want you to get your hands on, coupled with what we added in 24.1, which was the ability to use ADM as a source at the start of your pipeline. So again, putting into your hands in your workflow these tools that allow you to both preserve and now record with the greatest spatial precision as part of the Wwise pipeline. Dig in deeper. And check out all the other new stuff that is part of 25.1 beta, and stay tuned. Get it installed. Take the survey that comes with it. We're always listening and carrying these things forward to future releases. Coming up on the end of the summer of beta, leaning into this fall and the full release of 25.1, we'll continue to carry your feedback forward, and join us for the Wwise Expo Online coming up. We'll get that date in the pipeline soon. And one more thing coming up as part of that full release that you'll want to tune in for. No spoilers. Cool. Stay tuned. And that brings us right up to the minute. So thank you again for joining us in the chat. Thalie, Alan, let's take a look at some of these features that you've been working on.
Yay.
Poosh.
Okay. So, we're just thrown in there. Okay.
I mean, bam.
Okay, so we have our Wwise Audio Lab game that you may be familiar with. It's a sandbox-like game where we use Unreal and we put some acoustics examples, 3D audio examples,
Yeah.
a little bit everywhere. So we're going to use this, and we're going to use the game object 3D viewer layout to provide. So let's do it.
Let's go. For those of you following along at home, we have already connected Wwise to the editor and now the game. And we're going to start capturing and go real time in Wwise with everything happening behind the screen represented in the game object 3D viewer.
So maybe that's happening to you too as well when you're connecting your game to the game object 3D viewer and you're like, oh my god, there are so many stuff there. I can't see anything and I want to do something, right? So we're gonna clean this up and I'm gonna show you how with the new features that we've added to this view. So on top of the 3D view, we have a new toolbar with 3 categories of options, and all of these options can modify what you see in the view. So let's use them to...
And these properties have been available
Yes.
through a different submenu in the past, but what this feature brings is the kind of organization to them as part of this settings toolbar, as well as giving you some extra affordances
Yes,
for
we
different
used
workflows.
to click on this eye and it would show us another view, and then we could check things, press OK, and then it would disappear. But now it's in the toolbar directly, and what's cool is when you like something, you can put it directly in the toolbar as well. So it's like a toolbar you customize for your own needs. So let's say that I will change the grid size and visibility a lot in my workflow. I can pin it and it's gonna appear here, and I don't need to open view anymore, and I can just use this to toggle my grid or maybe change my grid size.
Nice.
Now everything related to game object is in here. So do we want to see the names of all our game objects? Maybe not for now, and maybe we can put it back on when we have reduced the size of this information we have here.
Yeah.
So we can pin it. Maybe we can pin also active voices, virtual voices, because maybe we want to only see our active voices right now. And what else? Maybe we can add attenuation radius.
Yeah, and I like spread too.
Spread.
Yep.
Then on the acoustic side, if you use acoustic, let's put it to top 2 so we have
Cool.
a global thing going on. So if you're using spatial audio features like rooms, portal, geometry, everything is going to be in the acoustic section. So we have a section for diffraction, reflection, some things about some text showing up. Do we want to see wireframe or no wireframe? Do we want to see transition regions for our reverb zones or no?
Right.
So we can add some of the things. Maybe we want to show and hide reflection paths, refraction paths. Okay. Maybe I'll show portal info.
Yeah.
That would be if you decided that's going to be your toolbar, and when you close and reopen Wwise, it's going to remember your pinned options, and it's going to be like this. That's
Amazing.
Cool? Is it cool?
It's again putting those things at your fingertips, giving the agency to choose different visibility settings for different workflows. Like maybe you're working one day on emitters, distances, the next day you're working on rooms and portals, or identifying diffraction, or someone on your team has a settings toolbar for reflect, and they want to always have that information within reach to be able to toggle on and off. And I think that's one of the things that we've been working on.
Yeah.
That's not all.
That's not all. We did other changes. So another change we made is this section here where we filter the list. So if we didn't have only active voices, we have a super long list here. and it used to have also lots of information in there. So right now we modified it a little bit. So when you filter the list, it's going to filter the list, but not change visuals. And if you want to change what you see and what you don't see, it's by these little eye icons. So for example, if we decided to see all these birds here, no, we want to hide all the birds, show all the birds. If we want to only show the birds, like we can hide everything and then just find our birds again.
Yep.
Only show the birds.
Amazing.
And we can, like I said, make some searches in the list, and it's not going to change the view. So let's say I'm searching for the radio. Is it called radio? I think so. So my radio is here. So I could say like, I want to see nothing but my radio. And I want to also see camera. Maybe it's called player camera. Yes. So then I could only see these. Okay, cool. But maybe I forgot something. I can still open this and search for it, for example.
Right.
And I can like still toggle this to remove all of the filters, or just toggle it again, get my filters. But what I didn't like before personally, I don't know about you, is that when you filtered here, it would completely like erase things in this list, and it would completely erase them from here, and it would be like too destructive. So now it's like 2 steps.
Right. Right. And you still have access to those hidden
Yes, you still have access to them
if you need them.
Yeah. And then you would maybe double click on this to focus. Like, where's my camera player? I'm gonna double click. Where's my radio? I'm gonna go double click. Oh, by the way, we're seeing editor things that we shouldn't see any. I normally do this. No editors. Yay.
Nice one. Pro tip.
So where's my radio? I double click, it focuses, but now it also selects, and this will add like a little round thing around your object and show you the selection, and it will add some information that I didn't show here, but it's in this new tab on the side, all the information of this radio. So these are informations that were all in this side of the screen before, like emitting voices, I think registered, unregistered was in there, but with more information. So the position, you used to be able to see it when you like showed this text. Kind of annoying to see the position of everything all the time if we're not like, if we're showing everything.
Yeah.
Wow, we don't need that. So we can say, no, I don't want to see the position, but I want to see the position of this. I want to see the position of this. Aha. So yeah.
Nice. Selection
Radius.
in the viewport. Game changer.
You can see radius. So this one has a radius of 1,000, 100, 500, and 3,000 outer radius. So these are information that we couldn't have before, and having it like here when we connect is super important. Sometimes when the teams are separate, if someone that works in Unreal is not the same person that is working in the authoring, but we can have access to the same information. Another thing, for example, rooms. We can select the room objects. What if I search for a room? Is mezzanine is a room? Is it called mezzanine? Maybe if I is something called room? No. Whatever. I'm trying
AK
to find a room.
Save City Alley.
Alley is a room. So we can see its type room, and we can see information like the priority, it's 1, and there's an outdoors room. We can see what the priority is. Is it a reverb zone? No, but if we select a reverb zone, we could see that information. I'm gonna remove this. Okay. Another thing we can select. I'm gonna go to my radio so that where is it? Train station.
Yeah.
Okay, my radio is in the train station, so I'm gonna just go near it so we can have
Oh, and I love watching the game object 3D viewer when you're
Yeah.
crawling around in rooms.
Okay, my radio it's here. It's moving. We're just gonna stop it from moving. Okay, so other things we can select. You can select paths. This is a reflection path. Okay, and then we have information on the reflection path. We can select a diffraction path. So we have information on our reflection on the reflection path. Okay, this is a build that was from yesterday. So it's in between beta 3 and the release. So not everything is there, but when you're gonna get it in your hands, it's gonna work. Let's say I double click on my radio to I'm gonna clear selection and select the radio. So when you select an emitter, it also selects the direct path. So we can get what transmission loss, diffraction, or obstruction value are there. Anything else, information that you need is there. Before, you would need to change views to see all of this information. So going to another layout, voice profiler, then find my radio, and then okay, this is my direct path, so I have this information. Okay, my transmission loss is 100%, but now we have it all directly in the viewer, and we can click and we can change what we see, what we want to see.
Nice.
Things like that.
Nice. That's putting the information that you need to understand, what's happening. I find so often that's the job, is like what is happening right now. And so taking a huge step here to get that information in context as part of the view where you are trying to figure things out. Well, it just means that you don't have to context switch going between the voice inspector view that you showed. Again, a lot of great information in that view when you're in a certain mode of investigation, and presenting it here as part of the game object 3D viewer. Well, there it is.
Yeah. That's it for me. I don't know if there's more things we want to look at.
Yeah. Folks, send over any suggestions of stuff that you want us to toggle and find. We're going to be living in the Wwise Audio Lab for the rest of the demonstration as well. So happy to circle back to any of these toggles to focus on parts of it that you want us to expose. So keep us posted in the chat. Groovy? All right. I'm taking over and jumping into dual shelf filters, but before I do that, I'm going to switch back to Alan and we'll have a quick introduction on dual shelf filters. Wow.
Look at that. We got some new icons that you'll see in, well, they've been out since the beta, so you may or may not have seen them. And if you have, you may or may or not have been wondering about what is the deal with dual shelf filters.
Awesome.
So, yeah, well, let's jump right into it, should we?
Take it away.
Let's do it. Well, so dual shelf filters. It's a new filter that we've added in Wwise alongside the already existing low pass and high pass filters. They're a particularly good tool to reach for if you're looking for something along the more in the realm of tone control rather than a more bitey, relatively sharper second order filter. And looks like Damien's about to prep us up for the demo in Wwise Audio Lab. I just wanted to take the time to talk a little bit about some of the technical overview of the DSF and also some of the considerations that we've had to make along the journey. So Damien, if you could switch the slide, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, dual shelf filters or DSFs, mathematically, they're really a mashup of a low shelf and a high shelf filter. And those two filters by themselves are super useful. But when you combine them together, you get a filter that's really powerful in that it gives us a lot of flexibility into what the filter's shape is going to look like. And so you can see in the wibbly wobbly animations in the low shelf side, we're changing the low gains, the low band gains. On the high shelf side, we're changing the high shelf gains. And then we bring those together with a dual shelf filter. We can change the low and the high gains just like we did in their individual constituents. But then there's also a mid-band gain that we can fiddle around with to make that flexibility a lot more, well, flexible. One really particularly helpful way that I like to think about DSFs is that they are kind of like a lighter version of a parametric EQ. And honestly, if you think about it, they're pretty much a parametric EQ, but without the peaking filters in the middle of it. And so when we were looking into adding high shelf filters into Wwise, we were looking at the DSF and we thought, well, for pretty much the same cost of a dedicated high shelf filter, we could give you something that acts like a high shelf filter, but then also gives you more flexibility than a regular high shelf filter. And so that flexibility leads us into a big consideration that was part of this journey, and that's diffraction. And in the next slide, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Great. So diffraction. So in the attenuation editor right now, we have an option to change the LPF and the HPF curves. But if you had gone outside and measured the effects of diffraction, like in the scenario in the leftmost picture, we have a source that is playing a sound, and that sound travels around the wall, which is the triangle, towards a bunch of different listeners that are indicated in different colors in the arrowheads. And if you had measured the filtering effect of diffraction, you would get these really gently sloping attenuations like we see in the middle chart. That's the colored lines. And the gradual transitions of those curves is not well representable by a relatively sharp second order low pass filter. Now, you could use a high shelf filter to replicate, to model these curves, and that would work for the diffraction angles of around 5 to 30 degrees if we go by this chart. But if your diffraction angle is sharper, then it becomes really hard, practically impossible to accurately model diffraction with just a high shelf filter. But with the moldability and the flexibility that the DSF offers, we can see in that rightmost animation, we can get really close to what diffraction would sound like in the real world.
Amazing.
And yeah, that's honestly all I really wanted to talk about as far as an overview of DSF. I think the best thing to do is to just jump right in back to Wall and have a listen and hear what it sounds like.
Yeah, so we're going to jump into the Wwise Audio Lab. We're going to put our ears on some examples, A/B them, and, at the release of 25.1, we'll also be carrying across a version of the Wwise Audio Lab that implements the dual shelf filters. So you'll be able to put your hands and ears on it yourself shortly after the full release of Wwise 25.1. You could integrate it today yourself with the beta if you want to get down inside the Wwise Audio Lab. Otherwise, use it in whatever test environment that you want. In order to really get the focus that you need to audition and understand this new filter and its opportunities. But give you a little peek. Let's roll. Thanks for the overview, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Back in the Wwise Audio Lab, and just make sure we've got a nice view for you here in the Game Object 3D Viewer. Again, you can see the overhead of this with the filters we have in place. And the first thing I wanted to look at was the fountain over here. Hear that start to come up as we move closer to it.
The fountain's a really good place to listen to the effects of the DSF. It's the sound of splashing water is very frequency rich, and you can hear a lot of the characteristics of low pass and also the DSF filters.
Cool, so let's jump into the authoring of this, and just to describe a bit about how it is authored as we move forward. The fountain itself is comprised of 3 different layers. This feeds into a 3D audio implementation that gives us a center, a far, and individual splashes for each of these fountain gushes, right? And over on the attenuation side of things, you can see that for each of these we have an attenuation that is currently using a shelf filter as part of its integration for distance. And this is different than our previous iteration, back when we only had low and high pass filters. And so we're going to do an A/B between the use of dual shelf filters and specifically with how you attenuate those filters over distance. So let's go. First thing I want to do is solo this so that we are only hearing the fountain. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and remove the volume attenuation from each of these, so it's just the flat sound. And then what we'll do is take and toggle the different filters on and off, back and forth. So it's custom the first time. So now we're listening to the fountain with no attenuation. We are only hearing the effect of the filters over distance. And this is with the previous low pass and high pass filter authoring that's been part of the Wwise Audio Lab since the introduction of 3D audio. And this is the kind of filtering that people have come to know and love as part of their implementation. It has a sound, it has a quality, right? So now we're going to roll back those changes. 2, 3. Sorry. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I'm right, we should now be back to our custom dual shelf.
So you've definitely lost that sort of filter sweep sound and arrived at something more that sounds like what you would hear in real life as you approach the fountain.
Yeah. Let's toggle that back. And of course, I challenge anyone to run that fast in real life, but this is an exaggeration meant to illustrate the challenge of filtering over distance. So that's one example where the dual shelf filter does a great job of sounding more natural. Cool, we got some comments from the chat, and yeah, jumping back all the way to Horatio's question, presets for the settings toolbar. Not yet.
No presets. There's actually no presets like in the view right now, but that's a good idea. And in 26 and in the future, we want to like continue upgrading the profiling and mostly acoustics profiling in our team. So I took a note of that, and maybe next time.
Yeah, great suggestion. This idea of being able to easily recall workflows is something that's definitely on our mind over here. So thanks for bringing that up. And then what else is going on? Yeah. Will the dual shelf filter be fully replacing HPF in attenuation editors? And there's no plans for that I know of.
Still going to be there.
Still going to
Just
be
have
there.
the third option of dual shelf filter now.
Yeah, and I think maybe philosophically, there's still great reasons to have these filters within reach for distance creatively. Because it's not always reality we're going for, and I think as folks who are trying to achieve, something that aligns with what they're hearing in their head or their vision for audio, you just want to have the tools at your disposal to, bring things into the right place. So, yeah, good question. Great to hear that the DSF sounds smoother and clearer. Yeah, and some good feedback from folks. Thanks. So let's do one more of these examples with a different sound source. This time we're going to focus on the Campfire. So I'll get that soloed here in the mix. We're now listening to the Campfire. We have a similar situation with the Campfire where the Campfire has one attenuation for audio objects, one for the main mix, and one for the pass-through mix. Oh no, actually, I take that back. They're routed differently, but they all use the same attenuation thanks to this amazing new feature where we are distance scaling these. Hey, which if you haven't caught up with this feature yet, you want to give an overview of it before I dig in?
Well, quickly, we can see that, let's say we look at the volume, our curve is until like 3,000 here, so 3,000 game units. But maybe we want to use the same curve, but we don't want to hear it until 3,000 and hear it. Here we have like this rumbling. We don't want to hear the rumbling when we're past 50. Yep. So we can just change this distance scaling. This is distance scaling. Yep. And if we look at it, we can see that this has scaled from 0 to
1,500, yeah.
So this is like a percentage, like, I want to have 50% of what it was.
Yep.
Effective max distance, 1,500. So yeah, you could decide, okay, I'm gonna use like physically based curves. Yeah. I do it once, and every object in my game is using the same curves, but like they start playing at different distances.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we did with these 3 layers of the Campfire, where we've got that rumble, as you mentioned, that you don't want to hear it all the way to the end as the crackling or the combustion. And so, yeah, we've scaled that distance. Same thing with the tiny little crackling and pops. Roll up to the Campfire, and it's only when you're within a short distance to the center of that object that you will hear those crackling and pops. And again, same curves, different distance scaling. So thanks for that. Cool. We're going to do that same A/B test here now, working in the Campfire, which means we're going to remove the volume distance curve from the equation. We're going to swap back to the previous filters that we've been using in the Wwise Audio Lab for the last years. We're going to kind of A/B those. Undo those. Okay.
Definitely more natural sounding for sure.
Once more with the high pass and low pass filters. You can almost hear it breathe with the filter. And then okay. So
Nice.
the filters sounded good. We're in isolation, of course. You know, this is not how you play games. This is how you develop games, by taking these things in isolation, you know, intensely listening at them, and then, you know, trying to find the right balance once it arrives fully in context. So, yeah, dig in deeper on your own in these isolated tests. There's a question from the chat: is the new dual shelf filter more expensive CPU-wise than the previous low pass or high pass in an attenuations scenario?
It is not. It actually costs the same as a regular low pass or high pass filter.
Great. So again, I think we're at a point where trying to leverage these techniques to bring better immersion to our experiences, you know, reach for the tool if it's in the box, because it's a good time to be able to leverage what we have in the box. Wow, that was an abstract way of saying, wow, we've come a long way. Hardware has really improved, and tools like this are inexpensive to reach for.
I should note, however, that they will be more expensive in the beta versions, but we've optimized the DSFs, and that optimization will be in the final release.
There it is. Development. All right. Good to see some folks in the chat having conversations. Guido's here. Hey, Guido. Good to see you. Mateus. Dig it. Want to talk about the radio here for a while?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Okay, back to this. So we've got our radio down here, and it has a dual shelf filter on it. We can see it right now. It's automated on a spline in this room on the other side of the doors here. I'm going to go ahead and just fix that in place. So
I do think it's important to note that unlike the low pass and the high pass filter, where your y-axis is 0 to 100, dual shelf filter instead is represented in gain, and that's changing the high shelf gain.
perfect. Okay, so let's go. The other thing I like to do before we put our ears on it
Their money is way down.
is I don't mind removing the reverb from the equation so that we can audition it isolated. So I'm just going to go here and mute those environmental aux
Yeah, I
buses.
don't want to go to if I go to McDonald's
And
because I'm hungover.
the main
and I
mix as
want
well.
A quarter pounder.
Exactly.
I
So
want a
back
fresh
to
wrap.
our
Right. And
voice.
you don't even
I
want
also want to
something at
crank
the
it up a
level of
little bit.
Five Guys. Like you want down and
Yeah,
dirty
okay,
McDonald's.
that familiar taste.
And the sooner McDonald's realizes that that's what
Mhm.
people want from McDonald's and just says,
I think I know where I'm going for lunch.
come get it.
No.
We were talking about Shamrock Shakes earlier, and
That's not okay.
yeah, this whole the theme of the conversation is pointing me to a certain direction,
Yeah, well,
one with golden arches, perhaps.
thank goodness for that stock VO that we have.
Yeah, like what were you giving us before?
Or
I just
still,
wanted to add, like, until now we've put this volume curve to none, and I don't know if you noticed,
Right.
but this is
I
not
forgot.
something that we could do before.
In the Civil War, troops.
We could not put that curve to none because the attenuation meant like it had to do something, and it was like legacy only volume distance. So the
Yeah.
volume one was always on. But now I added this. We can put it to none because we could, for example, have an attenuation share set only for diffraction appraisal. I don't know, for example.
And let me put precision on that. In the project settings now,
Yeah.
you have the environmental curves, which previously were their own attenuation share set for environmental curves or
You
their
had to
own curves.
move, like shape the curves in here.
Yep.
And you couldn't like move it and do something else. No, you had to move it, like change them,
Yeah.
press OK, and then you could go back to the rest of your authoring.
Yeah.
But now we changed this so that you can add a share set. So if you want to have like shareable diffraction, obstruction, occlusion, transmission curves, you can put something here.
Yeah, you target a share set specifically in the attenuation share sets.
And this one is factory because we're giving it to you. If
Yep.
you want some physically based environmental curves, they're there. They're there.
Yeah. And when we did that, what we enabled was the ability to set these to none.
To none because this share set, that's what it is. If you,
Yep.
that's
It-
what we're selected on. Yes,
Yep.
because this environmental curve share set is technically you could add like like distance attenuation curves, but it's not the one that is going to be
Yep.
project used. Like other objects using this attenuation for are only going to use obstruction, occlusion, diffraction, transmission,
Yep.
like it did before.
Right.
But
Exactly.
now we decided to have a share set. Like it's the half of the way. Like we're going to go somewhere with these curves at one point. Now we did half of half. We did part of the way.
Yep.
Maybe at one point distance, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But right now,
Yeah.
still obstruction, occlusion, diffraction, transmission.
Well, and the ultimate goal is to put the authoring and auditioning within context within your hands. So now when you're tweaking the project curves for the project share set that you're pointed at, you can do that in real time.
Yeah, you can do it here in this, and you can see things like other attenuations appear in this part, in this section with the curves, like
Yeah.
with the little flags and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, nice work. Yeah. unlocking
That person
this real-time workflow.
and his children
So,
said, "Hey, Pop, why don't you
cool.
pop
Okay, back
So the
to our
Yeah, and it's
radio demo.
another junk food. Did they not?
So,
Yeah, okay.
What about do you know?
we're not talking about diffraction and transmission yet. I think we were just going to see if we could audition the curve itself for the dual shelf filter.
Book that did this for us. It's called the Encyclopedia of Junk Food and Fast Food.
Yeah.
And it's on academia.edu,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically apparently they upload books onto this thing and you can read them.
Neat.
Yeah.
Did you
So
wanna put none as a
potato
volume?
chips. The legend goes
I
that
don't
it
know,
was
I think it
invented
might
in the
go kinda
1850s
long
in
if I
Saratoga,
do,
New
but
York.
Okay.
Let's
by
try
a
it.
guy, a chef named George Crew, I believe. And that's not true. They've been around for at least 30 years before that.
Oh yeah.
But that's the popular story. And
Oh, we're not
around the
capturing.
1850s, 1870s, 1880s, people started manufacturing them en masse.
Uh huh.
But they were delivered in barrels.
I'm keeping that on
Would
because,
come and be like,
yeah, it
I
gets
brought my own brown paper
the
bag.
the volume curve. It goes quite far out.
Yeah.
It's
I'll go home and warm 'em up, and they'll be
audible for a long
And
time,
so they-
but it does get
part
quiet
of
fast.
the
So
mass
let's hear how that
commercialization of this
sounds.
junk food
Mm-hmm.
was to figure out how to package it and preserve it so that they didn't go stale,
Yeah.
and people didn't have to bring their own bag from home to go buy potatoes.
Okay,
You
and
could just buy the bag
now
and
we'll take
home.
it to.
And it took until the 1930s to figure that out.
How long was that? What?
The 1880s is
Oh,
when
wow.
they really started to sell them.
So it took like 50 years to get them packaged correctly.
Yeah. So you, the future grandfather listening today,
Uh huh.
you're screwing up your grandkids' health right now.
That's right.
Go
'cause,
listen to our epigenetics episode.
Yeah. Junk food is.
And toggling it back to
wasn't
dual shelf.
My grandparents' day.
No,
You know.
no, they had lame diets.
Yeah. It was, yeah. Of whole foods and
Right.
all these natural things.
Well, that's something that this article I thought was smart to point out, that back in the day, before junk food, it didn't mean everybody was just eating like.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that across a long distance like that, it's harder to hear the filter opening and closing, in a dramatic fashion, right?
Mhm.
So it's really, as you indicated with the fountain, having something that is fuller frequency or has the high frequency content to really hear the filter opening and closing, that has the most profound effect.
Really fundamentally unhealthy
Uh,
food like we
What
do.
about
And
diffraction?
that's the definition of junk
Let's
food, really.
talk
That's
a
right,
little bit
junk food,
about
you might have
that.
heard of like empty calories.
And
That's what junk food is. It's food that has either
right now we're
zero
using
or very
the
little
project
nutritional
diffraction, so
Well, it has
that's
a lot of
that share
calories,
set that we were
value.
talking about.
Calories.
We're gonna come around the corner, and of course it gets quieter because sound is propagating outside of that door from the radio and then bending around. And this is back to, I'm just going to put this in focus again. This is back to the diagram that you put up about, the reflection zone, the shadow zone, sound bending around the scene, and how the DSF is can easily represent that across the different frequencies. Yeah, so that's what we're going to look at here, and we're going to try to toggle that for you so that we can hear the difference. All right, so we're going to go from using the project diffraction none
Yeah, mental health, physical health.
to using this custom.
Should we also set the distance volume to none just to kind of exaggerate things and
Yeah,
be able to
let's
hear?
do that. Sure, you got it.
When we were researching this, I was like, I want a donut right now. I'm gonna go get a donut.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get like a McGriddle or something too.
Oh goodness.
I even thought like maybe I'll get a root beer somewhere. I don't even know where.
You get root beer or you get any other soda.
And I guess
Okay, and now let's flip it back.
personal experience buying root beer anywhere. That's what this article did. You know what I mean?
I got a guy who can get you some root beer.
Good stuff.
Yeah, you just stick with me afterward.
All right.
I'll introduce you.
Thanks, man.
You got to meet him first, but yeah. After that, it's all good. Yeah, bad stuff. So let's talk about junk food. Let's talk about the history, I guess, because it's pretty interesting in the, like we were saying before the dawn of.
You're also getting a little transmission through the wall here. And I wonder if where we're at right now, Thalie, you could pilot us around in the game object profiler
Yeah.
to take a look at how we could see that back here in the game object 3D viewer.
Yeah, let's just look at the radio and our player.
Right. And
And let's remove reflect. We're really focusing on this reflection
like
path.
before we had food that was bad for you, like caramels were introduced by the Arabs in
Yeah,
about
what do you want to
1000
see?
AD.
Well, first of all, what we're looking at here is the diffraction path from the listener, where the player is at, all the way over to the radio.
The dude who founded
And
keyboards
is
used the
there a
keyboard.
value that we can see on the grid itself? And I guess we see that value over in the property panel as well.
We see the total diffraction is 77,
Yep.
and each section, like each edge, has their own diffraction.
Wow.
This one and this one.
And, there were,
and one comes
there
from
were
a
lot of
portal
other
diffraction.
factors that
Dig it.
contributed to the rise of junk food.
Then we can click
besides
also on the
the
direct path
industrialization,
and have some
people went to
information on
cities
that.
and away from
Yeah.
farms.
Sure, and what's interesting for me there is that transmission is at 100, so it's fully blocked by the wall in between the listener and the...
Yes, and if we move
Yeah.
The winter before.
That's right.
back here,
Civil
so
War
we see
during
That's what I know about
the
candy.
diffraction disappears, and we
Oh,
only
well,
have
we used to
our
can
direct
when I was a
path
kid. I think I've told
at
that story.
0.
Did you?
Perfect.
Yeah, my mom used to take me to the cannery and can stuff.
Like this.
Like we were
Cannery was
homesteaders.
for like.
Love it.
Maybe we can
Really?
look at
Yeah.
the
Wow. Where
diffraction
was the
value
cannery?
here changing.
It was DeKalb County cannery over like.
Now-
up
And what do you
Memorial
think,
Drive.
folks?
So it's
Smoother
just a
sounding?
facility
Definitely heard the difference in our A/B
And
test
you could show
earlier.
up with your green beans
Right.
and your peaches and. you could
Now,
go
I'm
up.
curious to
Yeah, I
see
never can, but I do
what
know
the
that.
diffraction value here translates to as a DSF value.
Aren't necessarily terrible.
And I
Yeah,
think
no,
it's a
when you
good
can, like,
seeg
cans aren't
into
involved at all.
the
I
new
thought they
edition
were
that we've made in the
black
voice
colors.
inspector.
Okay, let's go.
Oh wow.
So voice inspector layout,
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You're like a
Talk.
Steinbeck family or something.
I just remember it was.
the
awesome
direct
as a kid. Now I
path
would totally
has
get into
one
it.
direct, one
But back then it was
diffraction,
the most boring place on earth for a kid.
and
Wrong.
if we
stores,
look
one
at
of
the
my
numbers
favorite
only, we
places
can
to
see
be.
that this
Wrong.
diffraction will
Fabric store.
create minus 24.
I will say
in the
fabric stores
DSF,
definitely up there. I have to say,
we
man,
can
you
double
tweeted about
click
this. You, me, and I
on
went to a
this
fabric store the
value
other
to
day,
open it,
and I was looking
and we
around
can
like,
go see
what
our
are
dual
some of these
shelf.
people doing in here?
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
say,
There were a lot
I
of
think
other
maybe we
fabric.
can just look
Oh,
at.
okay.
A lot
No,
of
we're not.
people I
No.
would not have expected
So what are we seeing
are into
here?
sewing. And like I'm like, okay,
Interesting.
everybody sews. Like, the
73.
entire spectrum of humanity
Mhm.
is
Well,
represented
it's
in
this
the
one, I
fabric
guess.
store.
Well,
That's
that doesn't
it.
mean they sew necessarily.
No, they were searching for fabrics and like
And so
looking at
would
them and
translate
comparing them to other
to-
fabrics. They
Well,
all
we
sew.
said that it was
Well,
minus
but that does
24.
just because
Yeah,
by
yeah.
fabric, when you sew, they could
Yeah,
apply
between 18 and minus 200,
Okay,
it's a
that's-
pretty big jump.
That to me falls under sewing.
So
It is one of the
here
industrial
with
arts on its
9,
own, true,
like we're
but
in this
I think
section
of
here.
upholstery as sewing to an extent.
even though there's no sewing involved necessarily.
So it's
And
really
these people
here
better not have been upholstering
that we
anything
have
with
this
their pink velour
section
leopard
of the curve.
fabric that they bought.
Yeah, fabric stores are pretty amazing when you go in. Like the stuff that you can
Nice.
tell has been sitting on the shelf since like 1975.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom used to
that's
take me to the fabric store,
focused
so I have
I
kind
hate
of-
it.
voice
I didn't like it either,
inspector
but it wasn't
giving you
like
the
a tire
laser
store
to
me.
be able
Like
to
getting tires put on the
identify
Yeah, because not
parts of
only
your
is there
project,
nothing for you to do as a
that you're working on, as well as what's happening under the hood behind the scenes in Wise. So
made it
great additions.
And unless you're
Awesome.
reading, like, Car and Driver magazine,
Cool.
then you're out of luck.
Okay, so we're looking for you in the chat. Send any questions that you have, things you want us to drive around. I know there's a lot here that is landing in your workflows, and so we're eager to hear from you. If you have questions and want to understand what's happening, Me, I just like to toggle on all of those reflections and crank up the order to 5th. Could go wrong.
5th doesn't exist. 4th.
Yeah, that's what I meant. 4th. I got confused with my ambisonics orders for a second.
Which they're not McDonald's associated anymore. You know that, right?
No, I don't
Look at that.
understand why McDonald's divested.
Love that.
You can click
It
on
lights
all
up
of
the
them.
Through the roof.
If I'm not mistaken, Chipotle was like wanted the
Just
separation.
love painting up the map with these impulses. Cool. Let's go.
Yeah, for Chipotle, you know, and McDonald's is in big trouble.
Yeah, I will be very surprised if there's not McDonald's 50 years from now.
No.
So does anyone out there have Game Object 3D Viewer artwork on their wall at the office?
No, I know. Like they're
Another
right now,
question I was
like,
reading.
Yes.
That's a good idea. Can we search by type? So right now, no. Right now it's by name. So I was trying to see if we had the name room as one of the names of our objects. We didn't. But that's a good thing, and we could add that. But also in the future, we want to have more than just game objects, because right now, maybe you notice, like, why is there a game objects like top level row like this, but nothing else? But in the future, we would like to have more sections. So we would have like game objects, maybe rooms separated or not. Right now, they're both game objects, so we put them there together. Portals, maybe geometry. What else? Like anything you could imagine, I guess, would be there. So yes, good suggestion, and take note. But yeah, when you click on, it really says like name or ID. So now it's clear that it's only that, but future.
Yeah, good suggestion. Hey, nice to see you too. Thanks for the question. I got one more example. I'm going to make it messy, and then Thalie, you can clean it up with the Game Object 3D Viewer toggles. But this door where we open out onto the ocean. So what I want is, can you
Well, not just that.
refocus the
Those food carts that were parked outside.
Game Object 3D Viewer so that we're seeing the radial emitters, we can see the spread, the portal spread. And that said, before I do that, I need to put this back. It's all back?
Right?
Okay, cool.
Let's talk about a few of these.
So,
You found this great article.
want to help me out with getting some visibility back into the Game Object 3D Viewer so we can see,
Called Let Us Now Praise the
yeah, exactly, the radial emitters for the ocean.
So they listed some of the early.
So I just put everything back on. We can just focus on
Yeah, let's
the
just,
player and the water.
Water.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so let's remove everything, water and player.
amazing.
Also, there is, I'm not sure if this is new or, is it new? I don't remember, but I think we have a function, I think is new,
Yeah,
where, game objects, where you can toggle the radius of inaudible objects. So all of these objects that we don't hear behind us because they're too far,
Yep.
we can toggle them off so it takes less things drawn. Also, you can see that we're only hearing these, right? Those, we don't hear it. This is like the ocean sound. We use like a multi-position game object for it with a spread that is calculated by these radii.
and that's showing the inner and outer radius.
I'm gonna add a little bit bigger spread right now for this. So these spreads are calculated. They're yellow, the same color as the radius, so you know that it comes from there. And this spread is the same color as the diffracted ones. Or maybe they're a little bit too big. 6. And these ones are blue because these ones are transmitted. Yes.
Nice.
Maybe we can move around and see how the spread changes,
Yeah.
well, we move. Yeah.
Yeah, and then back through the portal.
Through the portal,
Said, hey, Pop, why don't you call them popsicles?
Yeah.
and they become
collapsing.
green
Yep, and
because
his
we
children never
went
saw
through
a
a
penny of
portal.
that money.
Another junk food. Did they not?
Amazing.
I'm just teasing.
Oh, okay.
What about, do you know much about potato chips?
No.
Great.
So we could sit here for hours and hours and
Cool.
do this because
Yeah, so yet another workflow enabled
Sure.
quickly
there's a
through
book that did
enabling
this
and
for us. It's called The
disabling the
Encyclopedia
visibility of
Junk
those
Food and
cones.
Fast Food.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
It's
also
on
have some spread and
academia.edu.
aperture
Mhm.
information.
Which is basically apparently they upload
I
books
think there's a bug here
onto
though.
this, and you can
This
read
can
them.
be the best when
Yeah.
you're gonna look
So,
at it. But yeah,
Potato chips. The legend goes that it was
Cool.
invented in the 1850s in Saratoga, New York, by a guy.
because the
Shepard
aperture is
Crew, I
supposed
believe.
to limit the
And
spread value.
that's not true. They've
Gotta
been
take
around
notes.
for at least 30 years
Taking
before
notes.
that.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the popular story. And around the 1850s, 1870s,
Cool.
1880s,
Well, folks, we invite you out there to take a look at all of the cool stuff that we've been doing in 25.1. These spatial features and all of their applications in your projects. Final thoughts from folks. Drop any questions in. Otherwise, yeah, that was a great overview. Nice work. I'm really happy with that. We had some early feedback on the dual shelf filters from someone who works primarily in VR. And I think the biggest takeaway from that feedback was just how quickly they were able to get at a good sounding approximation with a single curve. So
Right on.
easy to get in and dial it in without having to work across low pass and high pass in order to get that intersection. So, getting you there faster, having it sound more natural, but keeping the creativity. If you want to still reach for low pass, high pass for reasons, let's keep making great sounding experiences. So, cool. Last thoughts? Did you decide on a favorite cake yet?
I don't know.
All right. Well, thanks for everyone who joined us here today in the chat. We had a good time showing you around the new features of the Game Object 3D Viewer settings toolbar and selection and property panel, as well as dual shelf filters in attenuations, also available in buses as well. Cool. Hey, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you very
you.
much.
All right, folks, the next time we see you, will it be the Wwise Expo Online or our hands-on integrations in 25.1? We'll see what the future holds, and will you be at GameSoundCon? Because I'll be there.
Not me.
Okay. Stay wise, and otherwise, stay good. All right? We'll see you next time. Take care.